Wisconsin waterfront property, water rights, piers, zoning, wetlands, and flowages. If you own or are thinking about buying lake or river property in Wisconsin, this video might save you from a very expensive mistake. Waterfront property is some of the most valuable real estate we have here in Northwest Wisconsin, but it's also some of the most misunderstood. Water rights, piers, shoreland zoning, wetlands, and even old dams can all affect what you can do with a property, what it's worth, and what surprises show up later. So in this video, I'm breaking down everything you need to know about Wisconsin waterfront property in plain English. Hey, I'm Ben Wheeler with eXp Realty here in Northwest Wisconsin. We have lakes, rivers, streams, and flowages everywhere around here, and I see buyers and sellers get tripped up by these rules all the time. So let's start at the foundation. Who actually owns the water? In Wisconsin, most natural lakes and streams are considered navigable. A water body is navigable if you can float a canoe or small recreational boat on it at some point during the year, even if it's only seasonally. When water is navigable, it falls under something called the public trust doctrine. That means the state of Wisconsin holds those waters in trust for the public. What the public gets: boating, fishing, swimming, recreational use, enjoyment of the scenery. But here's the part people misunderstand. What the public does not get: the right to cross private property, the right to walk along your shoreline, the right to use your dock. Public rights do not mean public access. The legal boundary between land and water in Wisconsin is called the Ordinary High Water Mark, or OHWM. This is not the water line you see today. It's not the average water level. The OHWM is determined by things like wave action, soil changes, and vegetation. Why does this matter? Because below the OHWM is considered waterbed. Above the OHWM is considered land. That line affects ownership, public rights, permits, and zoning. If your property touches a natural lake or stream, you're considered a riparian owner. Riparian rights give you reasonable use of the water access for boating and swimming, the ability to place structures like piers and docks, but reasonable is the key word, the riparian zone. Every waterfront property has what's called a riparian zone. You won't see it on a survey or title report, but it determines where your dock can go so that everyone has fair access to open water. You can't block navigation, you can't interfere with your neighbor's access. Permits and the DNR. In Wisconsin, pier and shoreline work is regulated under Chapter 30 of state law and overseen by the DNR. Some piers are exempt. Some require general permits. Larger projects require individual permits. Skipping permits is one of the fastest ways to create problems, especially when you go to sell. Flowages, man-made lakes created by dams, are one of the most confusing areas of waterfront ownership. For a period of time, shoreline owners on flowages didn't automatically have riparian rights. In 2021, Wisconsin changed the law. Shoreline owners on flowages are presumed to have riparian rights unless a deed or recorded document specifically restricts them. That's why title work is so important on flowage properties. Shoreland zoning is another area that surprises people. In most cases, shoreland zoning applies within 1,000 feet of a lake or 300 feet of a river or stream, sometimes farther if there's a floodplain. That's a lot more land than most people realize. Key rules that matter. Minimum lot sizes depend on sewer access. Most buildings must be set back 75 feet from the water. Maximum building height is usually 35 feet. Impervious surfaces like driveways and patios are limited. Non-conforming structures, the good news. If a home doesn't meet today's rules, it's usually considered non-conforming, not illegal. Wisconsin law allows non-conforming homes to be repaired, remodeled, or rebuilt, as long as the footprint doesn't expand. That's huge for older lake homes. Wetlands are probably the most misunderstood and expensive issue I see. Wetlands aren't just marshes. They can be woods, low fields, or areas that only hold water part of the year. In some cases, water may be present as little as 5% of the growing season. Maps aren't final. Wetland maps are guides, not final answers. You should never assume land is buildable or unbuildable based on a map alone. Permits and mitigation. Any filling of wetlands, federal or non-federal, requires a state permit. Larger projects often require mitigation, like purchasing credits from a mitigation bank. This is where buyers can get blindsided without proper due diligence. Many dams in Wisconsin were built over 100 years ago. If a dam isn't maintained, it may be removed. When that happens, a lake or pond can disappear. Who owns the land afterward depends on how the dam and flowage were originally created, and that can dramatically affect property value. If you've watched this whole video, you now understand more about Wisconsin waterfront property than most buyers, and honestly, more than a lot of owners. These rules affect what you can build, how you can use the property, and what it's worth when it's time to sell. If you're buying or selling waterfront property in Northwest Wisconsin and want straight answers, I'm always happy to help. And if this video was useful, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who owns lake property.